So, tell me something terrible.
Okay.
You have 2 pillows.
Uh-huh.
So what do you have, like 3 inches of chair you're sitting on?
No.
Okay. It just seems I feel like
It's a good foot.
I feel like the second pillow is redundant. Like, what is it doing?
No. It's giving me lots of support.
No, it's not. It's removing support. Because you would have a firm support in the back. If there was one pillow, I would be fine with that. But
No,
the second pillow is just decreasing your support factor.
Nope. I need the second pillow.
No. Now your back's... Anyway. You
Nope.
ready to start?
I was sitting on it. And then...
Oh, you had one under, one behind?
Yeah.
Giggity.
Back when I was in a lot of pain. So that tugboat.
Right?
Oh, now are we ready to start, I suppose?
Oh, we've started.
Okay.
Yeah, we're 4 minutes. Just kidding.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, you are.
I feel like we didn't do intros in the last couple. Did we?
We did.
Okay. All right. I'm going to rely on you.
I think so.
You're the sound editor over there.
Yeah, I just dub them in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, hi, I'm Tiffany. I just work it in.
That's what I sound like?
No, I do that voice, and then I speed it up by like 10%. It sounds just like you. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah.
Wow. Well.
Yeah, it's like recording the chipmunk thing.
Great.
Just kidding. Your voice is...
Hurts my feelings.
Your voice
is very deep for a female,
I was going to say,
actually.
it's too deep. I wouldn't be able to like speed it up at all. Anyway.
Yeah, it is very deep for a lady voice.
If you're about that life, and you're listening to this...
Deep lady voices?
No, today or tomorrow. The day it comes out of the day after, whatever. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Or, even better, Happy Indigenous Month.
Is it the whole month? Mm-hmm. I knew that it was Indigenous People Day.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if the whole month was...
Yeah, I think it's the, like, how we have...
Heritage Month?
Yeah, and how we have...
I'm not...
Black History Month. We have Native American or Indigenous or First Nations or whatever you prefer to call yourself.
This month.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lil's been big into them because they just learned about like the 3 fire tribes and all different sorts of stuff.
Here in Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit more than just cursory research into the name of our road, and it is not a racial slur between 2 Native American tribes. It is actually a subset of the Potawatomi tribes.
Well, there we go. Well, don't tell people, then they'll show up.
I didn't say the name of the road.
Kidding.
I'm just saying now you got to figure it out.
It would take like a 30-second Facebook dive to figure out where we live. So I'm willing to accept that.
Considering the new church that we've been going to, the lady was like, "Oh, I know Napoleon. Oh, it's that house?"
Yeah, well, our house, it's easy to spot.
It's a very discernible house.
Anywho.
I'll tell you exactly where we live.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about No. Smallpox? We did that last year.
No, we did that last year.
If you are new here, you can go back. God, I should have looked up what episode that was. The November whatever
a year
ago, and it'll be about Thanksgiving and smallpox blankets. And all that.
Yep.
Horrible stuff.
Yep.
Is this one's less?
Oh, this one's fun because we're diving into cult myths next month.
Okay.
Yep. So I thought I'd do a continuation from what I told you last episode.
Okay. And you only have to do. Are you still thinking 2 episodes next month?
No, we'll see.
Okay. Because obviously, if we do more than 2, we'll front load them because the end of the month gets a bit busy.
Yes.
Whatever your, holiday.
It probably also
season.
depends on how far I delve into the cult information. We might have 2-parters. Whatever. We'll see.
Today's the 22nd. So yeah, there is. Okay, there's only 4 Tuesdays next month.
Okay, that's not bad.
No.
All right, ready?
Fire away.
Okay. In May of 2017, the SLAC accelerator. Think like the CERN.
Okay.
Where they shoot things really quickly down a really big tunnel to make things happen physically.
Okay.
They shot a high-powered X-ray at some molecule in an attempt to, quote, knock electrons from the molecule. Everything was working out the way it was supposed to, and then the atom, quote, dramatically explodes. And from within the explosion, electrons started getting sucked into this new space.
Okay.
And another quote, by golly, it looked like a black hole, according to this guy that was being interviewed for Ancient Aliens.
Okay.
So when you were discussing about like different humans in like multiple universes yesterday, I was like, wait, just wait.
Good. Also, I'm 1% qualified on this subject. I took physical chemistry in college.
Ooh.
So particle motion. I know slightly more than a high schooler, and that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we enter the conspiracy theories. This was evidence that...
Okay. Oh, we're right into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just the prelude to
The actual story?
actual story.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. A little foreshadowing here, probably.
Yep.
Build the suspense.
Yep. So this was evidence that electromagnetic black holes could exist on Earth.
Are we going to talk about dark matter?
No. That shit's scary.
Dark matter?
Isn't that like it's really heavy too, isn't it?
Dark matter's what the
It's
rest
the
of
space that's between everything.
Dark matter's what the universe is made up of. So like 97% of the universe is dark matter, and like what we're made up of, like our planet,
We're
and
made
our
of
beings,
stars.
we're made up of like 5% of the entire universe's elements, and the rest of the universe is made up of a much more diverse subset of stuff they call dark matter.
Wait, like humans or like the planet Earth?
Like the
is
whole
made
planet
Up?
and all in our elements, like say the periodic table, that represents 5% of all the elements.
That's
there.
all right.
Okay.
You can stop now.
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
So that edible kicked in like 20 minutes ago.
Good.
So
This will be
I don't
fun.
want to have a panic.
Let's have all.
Hold on, we have to pause for the cause.
Right.
This is not for drinks this time.
Right. Yeah.
You're gonna find me in a corner.
There's oh shoot, what was the name of it? There's like a name for the existential doom like feeling when you talk about like how big the universe is and how insignificant we are. There's an actual name for that.
Yeah, it's probably German.
No.
German language pulls out some good ones.
There's cosmic vertigo is one of them, and then like there's another name that's like a little catchier. But that's what they call
Cosmic vertigo is pretty catchy.
It's like when you.
I'm in a constant state of cosmic vertigo.
It's like when you.
That's what I'm going to start calling my panic attacks now.
Yeah, well, it's like when you try to think about how big everything is, and it like literally disorients you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
that's what I'm going to call my panic attacks. Sounds much much more fun,
just-
more whimsical.
we'll probably end up titling this episode "Existential Crisis," so this will be fun.
No, it's not that bad. It's a pretty lighthearted
Let's
story.
make us all feel super insignificant before we go be around family for a couple days.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, and let's just let it loose because,
And then let's talk about food scarcity just to really top it off.
we're tiny flecks on a piece of dust.
And we're starving ourselves.
I'm gonna go listen to Carl
Poisoning our
Sagan
water.
and just forget the world exists.
Anyway, so it was evidence that electromagnetic black holes could exist on Earth.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
So this
Why wouldn't they be able to exist on Earth?
Yeah. Well, this is a theory behind what happens. The story I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So this explains a very
Sorry.
what's up?
No, I just giggled to myself reflecting on a word I learned today.
Oh, what's the word you learned today? Since we're learning all different sorts of new words.
Okay, so I
expressions.
listened to a podcast, the Podologies on
Ologies?
Cosmology,
Yes.
literally today. So they were talking
Perfect.
about spaghettification, which is a word made up by
They're all made up. It doesn't matter.
what's his name? Stephen Hawking.
Sure.
And it talks about
He's a pretty
how-
smart dude.
Yeah. So it talks about how if you got sucked into a black hole, your atoms would all get pulled and aligned in spaghettification, essentially. So you would look like string cheese, which apparently they make using like some sort of weird ionization anyway, where they like line up all the particles. Anyway,
Sure.
it's a weird thing that
That's what
happens.
they think they did.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, this is literally like what that Ancient Aliens episode was about, and then
Okay.
it gets racist, because it talks about how like everything's aliens. No, ancient civilizations can also be smart too.
Yeah.
Like, they
okay,
can
go
make
ahead. Sorry, I'll
tunes and
stop
do math.
interrupting. I'm here to listen.
No, I left. This is super short. You can actually talk this time instead of just me
No.
plowing through like I normally do.
No, I usually talk mostly in the first 10 minutes anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, they think because they've developed this, and they talked about that too. How like,
I
if
thought
they
about
could
doing the
make
bonus
this,
pod on spaghettification, but I didn't think there'd be enough data about it.
there
Like,
might be.
Maybe,
You
but
could
I'm not
watch this Ancient Alien episode.
That's not where I get most of my data from,
This has some very suspect sources.
as you would expect. Yeah.
So these potential electromagnetic black holes can be used to explain this sus phenomenon, these, quote, so-called hotspots. So according to a former missing persons investigator, his name is Dave Paulides, he started collecting data surrounding missing people in the United States and found 59 of these hotspots where disappearances were unusually high in the U.S. alone.
Okay, so they think black holes are sucking people in.
Yes. So after 9 years...
That's not where I thought this was going.
No.
I thought it was going to be more scientific and fun.
Absolutely not. That's
And
why I
not-
said suspect.
How long
sources.
until you mentioned the Bermuda Triangle? Like another 10 mintes?
No Bermuda Triangle. But they think the Bermuda Triangle. So actually, they it was interesting when they were talking about. They were showing this map, and this guy, all of these places, not just like they think that there's bigger hotspots, because it went bigger than just the U.S. and missing persons. That was just the one piece of information that I used for this topic. They were discussing like other triangles in the world besides Lake Michigan's triangle, which this is an extension of. They mentioned the Bermuda Triangle and then like other triangles throughout the world, and they actually fall along like equators and like the 45th and stuff like that.
Okay.
And there's like other spots where they haven't found other triangles where they had different colors. It doesn't matter. It's all connected. They honestly, in this, they propose the idea that we can travel to other dimensions. Time doesn't affect you the same there. It could be a blink of an eye. They like there and forever here. And also it could explain why you can move quickly from like how people show up in random spots really, really far away from where they disappeared at.
Could just be drugs.
It could be drugs. But honestly, they even went as far as saying something about like,
are these along like
Moses
fault lines
or something
and stuff?
like that? No, they don't mention fault lines or the.
I just didn't know if in order to create this kind of reaction you're talking about, if like continental like plates running into each other could be enough force to like essentially do the same thing. That was just the first thing that came to my mind.
Maybe.
Because I was just curious as to how this...
where they think that...
Unless you're talking like
so the theory that
anyway,
they had...
Keep reading your paper.
The theory that they had in it wasn't like energy created by the Earth, but from our electromagnetic field. Apparently we have a weak spot in it. Okay. I can't remember what term that
like
they used. Yeah, like where things are like weird and so they think that from our own electromagnetic field, it could be then creating the electromagnetic field like holes in the U.S. or in the U.S. and the world.
So it's not like atomic bombs and sheds in backyards or anything.
No.
Okay.
No. That's what draws the aliens.
It's not the Hard-On Collider.
No, it's not the Hard-On Collider.
I love that was misspelled on their website.
Oh no, it was
the Large Hadron Collider.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was on their website like I guess like 1,000 times, and it was misspelled 5 times as hard-on.
Oh, that's amazing. It makes you wonder if they just accidentally mistyped it or if it was corrected.
You just mistype it and you read the word so many times your brain like flip-flops it, and spell checks like whatever, hard-on's a word.
Totally.
Capitalize hard-on for sure.
So
never question a capitalize. That's what my spell check does. No. Oh, it must be a name. You're good.
Yep. So Dave Pilatus is that missing persons investigator.
Pilatus?
Pilatus. Pilatus? Pilatus.
I heard Pilatus.
Pilatus.
Okay.
You like that coitus interruptus?
Yep.
It's favorite form of birth control.
I mean, cheap.
It is. Risky.
Trust exercise. It's the ultimate trust fall.
It is.
Anyway.
So this guy, Pilatus.
Crazy theories, lines, and strings on a map.
Yes. So he started collecting data surrounding missing people in the United States and found that 59 of these hotspots were where people were unusually high in disappearances.
And they weren't like major cities?
No, they're just random places.
Okay.
And after 9 years of compiling evidence, he started to notice an MO. There was usually bad weather. No scent trail can be picked up by search dogs. Professional trackers usually find no signs of these people. And if they did show up, it was usually in a place that had been searched multiple times. And they usually either are found or go missing by a body of water. Do you know what I'm going to talk about yet? We just talked about it. 2 weeks ago.
I was going to say like 2.5 weeks ago. Because we're recording this in like the 11th hour.
Yes, we are.
We were ahead of schedule last time. So no, I don't, unless you're going to be like Kelpies or something.
No. So you do like Kelpies and hard-ons and tugboats and pull-out games. Scott's favorite. So, and man-witches.
You're just slamming every word together from every podcast.
So this theory brings us back to February 1978.
Okay.
Near Hope College on Lake Michigan.
Okay.
So now I'm going to elaborate on the disappearance and reappearance of Steven Kubacki.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. But I thought there was like a name for it or something you were going to talk about.
No, just his story.
Yeah.
Because I found more information and I was real excited about it.
Okay.
And like I said, we wanted to do a lighthearted episode before we dive into cult myths. So February 17th, 1978, Steven told his roommates that he was planning a solo cross-country ski trip the following day on February 18th. Over to Lake Michigan. Yes. So he would only be gone a day or so. How Steven got reported when he didn't come back varies. It was either the roommates that reported him when he didn't show back up, or it was the snowmobilers that found his skis and backpacks. But according to police reports, it was first reported by snowboarders.
Okay.
So they found his skis sticking straight up in the snow with his backpack hanging neatly from the tops, fully packed for his trip.
Okay.
And they identified him from a dentist bill that he had in it.
Weird.
So the Michigan State Police arranged an air and land search, alerted the Coast Guard, and started interviewing friends and acquaintances. They found his single set of tracks that ended 200 feet out onto the frozen Lake Michigan.
Okay.
And they came to an abrupt stop with no return tracks.
Okay, that's where he fell in.
Yes. So, allegedly, possibly, or got picked up by aliens, or got sucked into a black hole.
Could be a lot of things.
Or spaghetti-sized. What is it?
Spaghettification?
Yeah, he was spaghettified.
I believe that'd be the, yeah.
Yeah. So they searched for any clues to his whereabouts and eventually concluded that he must have fallen through the ice, even though there was no hole, and he drowned.
Yep.
So despite the fact that this was a ski trip Steven had done before.
Okay.
So he's done this before. He's also an avid outdoorsman, having come from Germany, spending his time hiking and climbing mountains while studying abroad in Europe.
Okay. Was he part of Dyatlov Pass?
Too soon. So according to friends, he had no reason to fake his disappearance, but he wouldn't necessarily be above doing it. He even talked about his girlfriends that he had. He had like one in France and two in Germany, and how he has a roommate who was like, yeah, no, he could totally do it, but not this time. He didn't do it.
Okay.
So
questionable character being brought up. Okay.
So people were torn between a planned disappearance or a terrible accident. He was nearly finished with his college degree in German studies, only a few classes away. He had no troubles in his life. He was described as a brilliant and a little more free-spirited than his fellow conservative classmates at Hope College. He was into D&D and the ladies.
Okay. Yep.
So he didn't have a reason to just
up vanish.
Yeah. There was no stress. That was the thing. They later on psychiatrists were like, oh yeah, he just was stressed out from life, and he was
He had a psychotic break.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what they think. A psych break. So he had a lot going for him. During further interviews, other students said that Steven seemed to be in good spirits the day before his ski trip. Other witnesses claimed to have seen a man that roughly fit Steven's description in about the area he went missing, climbing on piles of jagged ice near the shoreline, but he wasn't alone.
Okay.
It's aliens. The witnesses...
Or he had an accomplice in his...
A young petite female was what the witnesses said that they saw, with long dark hair taking pictures of him.
Okay.
Yep. So establishing that alibi.
All right.
So his roommates don't know who this mystery girl is, and there are entries in police reports referring to a female student, but her name had been redacted. And apparently there was a female classmate that fit this description of Steven's who had dropped out of school 2 to 3 weeks after his disappearance. She was so distraught over his vanishing that she had attempted suicide, left campus, and went to go live with her aunt in Grand Rapids.
Okay, she's probably the one.
Yeah, she had the mentee be, not him.
Yeah, yeah.
So about a month...
Maybe he was a stalker, and he was just trying to get away from her.
Maybe.
Let's run that theory. I'm just going to keep that in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Let's see how this all goes.
So about a month after whatever happened, I was going to have a very unsatisfying finish.
Terrific.
Yeah.
I love unsolved shit. Oh, I guess this is all just hypothetical and loose connections anyway.
Yes. So about wild speculation.
Yep.
About a month after whatever happened, Steven's mother called the state police to inform them of a family friend getting a phone calls directing them to call another phone number about Steven.
That's
no,
weird.
it was to call other people about Steven.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a month after he disappeared. And
so plenty of time to get wherever he showed up.
Yes. So they were also given a number that he could be called to that you could call to contact him.
Okay.
So these phone numbers and names are listed in the police reports, but have also been redacted. When the family finally called the number in question, it was completely disconnected. But this was a number that was familiar to the family, as Steven had called his mother from that same number 6 months earlier in September of 1977.
Okay.
So friends were getting phone calls to call Steven at this number, and it was a disconnected number, but it was a number that Steven had called his mom from 6 months before.
It's the ultimate telephone game, literally.
Yes.
Okay.
So police were unable to track down who was calling from that number, either because it was a dead end or the Michigan Bell just wasn't able to get that information. And
Which is a telephone company.
Yes.
In case you're not from Michigan.
Yep. And his brother offered another lead. He said that if Steven was going to fake his own death and disappear, he said chances are he would head back to Germany, and if he was going to go back home, it would be on Icelandic air flight.
Okay.
So police pulled flight manifests and found nothing.
Okay, it's very random. Like, it's a lot of information.
It's very specific information.
It is,
too.
yeah.
Apparently, that's the airline he'd
Preferred
taken. Yeah,
okay.
He'd taken that airline before.
Yeah.
So instead of determining that Steven was gone forever, the police would continue to search the area and stayed in contact with people that were close to Steven, despite the fact that the dean of the college said that Steven had a propensity to hang out with, quote, weird people.
Oh, yeah, he plays D&D.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's a
And he's going
college.
to a private Christian college.
They're all fucking weird. I went to a private college. Yeah, there's not a normal one there.
They all think they're normal. You were the one that stuck out with your Johnny Cash cut off and your
I don't wear cutoffs.
steel toe boots.
No, and I wore like Leonard Skinner shirts
Ooh,
class.
a rebel.
Yeah, my Johnny Cash shirt was a cutoff. I wasn't going to wear that on campus.
So you'd probably get kicked out anyway.
Nah, I was straight and white. We're good.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So his parents hired a private investigator from the Fat Man Detective Service in Grand Rapids.
Seems legit.
It still exists.
It sounds like a donut company.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing.
Cool.
And they have a phone number and like everything and like Yelp. And so, if you're in the market for a private eye,
Yeah.
we know some people.
Yeah. I hope he's actually super skinny and that's just part of his undercover operation.
That would be great. Like how, really tall people are called tiny or whatever.
Like, oh, no, I'm not being followed by the Fat Man Detective. Look at that skinny guy that's been following me for 3 days. No biggie. Probably coincidence.
It's a Men in Black, duh.
Yeah.
So this was a very active missing persons case with multiple agencies searching for him, but he was nowhere to be found. The police even went as far as sending his dental records to Chicago to be compared to John Wayne Gacy's unidentified victims.
Okay.
Yeah. They were desperate.
Yeah. Luckily, they had that dental bill from his pack.
Yes, it was very easy to track down his records.
Yep.
So
how convenient that he put that in his backpack when he wanted to go missing.
You're right.
It seems very planned.
Yeah.
He probably put his shoes on backwards, walked out to the middle of the lake, then walked back in his footprints.
Probably. So his friends and family and college community were split between him drowning or disappearing, and the school even granted Steven his bachelor's degree in absentia because he was so close to finishing before he vanished.
Yep.
He was never declared dead, though, just missing. Mm-hmm. Until May 5th, 1979.
2 years later?
14 months later. So he disappeared in 78.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 77.
77 is when he got the telephone game started in 77.
Oh, okay.
So over 700 miles away, a student from Berkshire Christian College,
of course,
another connection, in Massachusetts. There's not a lot of red lines. I feel like all the lines just keep going to the same 3 spots.
Well, I feel like he got in too deep with his little D&D gang, and some chick got crazy obsessed with him because he was like a little sporty and German eccentric. Yeah, and then he's like, I got to get the fuck out of here. She's like, or he knocked her up, and then he's like, it's Christian college. I'm going to get like kicked out, all this stuff. So he's like, I got to bounce.
That's a theory.
Yeah. Let's just speculate like crazy.
Yes, I like that theory.
Stage 5 clinger. I got to get out of here and act like he was probably just like trying to like sneak out, and then all of a sudden it became like a thing. And he's like, oh fuck, I really got to get out of here now.
Yeah. And he's like, what's the most ridiculous way to have her never call me again? Yeah. Oh, I know. Faking my own death.
Yeah, I'll act like I wandered across the lake on a ski hike and then just died.
Yes.
My parents won't care. She's crazy.
They'll understand.
They were going to disown me if I knocked her up out of wedlock anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, they're German, though.
Yeah, but they sent him to Hope College.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
So, over 700 miles away, a student from Berkshire Christian College in Massachusetts named Ron Curtis picked up a hitchhiker, quote, with a remarkable resemblance to Steven Kubacki in Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So this hitchhiker told, what's his name? Ron. This hitchhiker told Ron that his name was Nathan and that he had taken a plane from San Francisco to Boston and then a bus to Pittsfield. He needed a ride to a house in Great Barrington to see a friend and bring news of a, quote, mutual acquaintance that had been missing.
Okay.
This Nathan failed to mention that this house in Great Barrington was actually his aunt's house.
Uh-huh.
And he had not mentioned anything about waking up on a grassy field with clothes on he didn't recognize and a backpack full of maps and evidence that he had been hitchhiking from Sacramento, San Francisco, Reno, Chicago. He had $40 in cash, new glasses, and new shoes, and a T-shirt from the Pavo Nurmi Marathon in Wisconsin that was held in August of 1978.
Okay.
And he has allegedly no memory of the last 14 and a half months. That's what he told his aunt.
I think he just went backpacking across America.
Yeah. So,
and his aunt was probably like the cool aunt, so he's like, I'm going to go there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The one that...
Yeah, she's
the one that has the sage and the crystals and the bracelets.
Maybe.
I'm his aunt.
Yeah.
So he did tell the police and his aunt and everybody else later that he had no memory of the previous 14 and a half months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called drugs in the 70s, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the very few interviews that Steven has done, he'd said that he felt like he had been doing a lot of running.
Yeah. You ran a marathon, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where he got the marathon. Except this person that did all this research, the main source that I used, they found no record of his name. They did find a few Kubackis, but none of them were age, and they didn't find any Nathans. They found one Nate, but he was listed as coming from Tokyo.
Where? Like, I mean, like, where were they looking for his name?
In the marathon listing, the registers at the marathon.
Okay, you could have got that shirt at Goodwill.
They don't know if it came from a marathon or if he got it.
You probably just found the shirt because that's like the first shirt you get rid of. Go to Goodwill. I can look like I run a 5K every month.
I have a National Honor Society band shirt from Jackson from like the early 2000s.
Yeah. If you go to Goodwill, 40% of the shirts are from races or like the Planet Fitness shirt that everybody got for free.
Yeah.
There's 47 of those at our Goodwill, I bet you. Yeah.
Exactly 47.
Yeah. No. He 100% just got that shirt because he's broke because he went backpacking.
Yes, with only $40.
Yeah, and he's just probably been moving as like doing like seasonal work and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we know people that do that.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned that already. Look at me go. So this was the only evidence really supporting the amnesia theory behind Steven's disappearance. That little bit of like marathon, the possibility that the Nate that was listed on the marathon could have possibly been him. Because there was literally nothing else besides his, eclectic amount of like gear that he had on him the day that he woke up in the field, or the wild story that Steven, himself told.
Mm-hmm.
So the story, we need to find out who that chick is.
Right?
Start DNA swabbing like your husband's, guys. We need to find out if he's maybe one of like Steven's.
Yeah, if you were born in 78 in Battle Creek.
Yeah. So the story where he just woke up in a field one day, his last memory of that he had before he woke up was of feeling cold and afraid of being lost in the frozen darkness, which makes it sound like he got lost at night.
Okay.
So he did tell reporters, right? Yeah, he did tell reporters that he believed his blackout was from exhaustion and exposure.
Okay.
And he said that he was willing to see a medical doctor for a physical, but he would not be going to a psychiatrist, insisting that he was in a healthy frame of mind and still was.
Yep.
Even though he had amnesia for 14 and a half months.
Yeah, but he didn't. But okay.
Yeah, it's almost like...
If you have a backpack full of maps, you're traveling across the country.
Or is he... working for the aliens?
No, there's no cell phones. He's just walking and then hitchhiking and then buying maps.
He probably didn't want to go see the psychiatrist because he knew the psychiatrist would be like, no, bro, he's lying.
Yeah, could look through his bullshit. Yeah.
And so...
He probably didn't think this would be a big deal, and then it became massive. He's like, oh, fuck, I gotta act like I don't remember any of this.
Oh, yeah, apparently, like, the graduating ceremony was, like, all mournful, and people were, like, sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his parents spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, like,
Yeah, and
looking
he's just
for
in San
him,
Francisco, probably like getting
high out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, or he's probably in like he's in like, you know, one of those ranches that you hear about. We'll probably cover him in Occultmas next month.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's out joining the Manson kids.
Yeah, he went from Hope College to Free Love.
Yeah, doing acid in the desert. That
whatever.
sounds way more fun.
Yeah. The Rajneeshis.
Yeah, yes. So he told reporters that he planned to attempt to retrace his steps to attempt to figure out what happened. But Steven has never said anything further outside of those interviews with reporters.
Okay.
He did ask the school for his degree to be reissued without the in absentia, and that's it.
Did they do it?
Yeah. He has a doctorate.
Nice.
Has a PhD.
Oh.
Yeah, his mother never asked him where he had gone because it was just a blessing that he was home.
That sounds like a very Christian thing to do.
Yep. Coming from the man who, like, what you had, like,
Don't
skull.
bring up any
No,
of
I'm not
my...
going to bring too crazy up. Just the skull and, like, a beer cap or whatever that they, like, found. And
Oh, yeah.
and-
Skull. I said skull. I was like, what? I didn't have
Not
like
a skull.
Shakespeare
What?
skull.
It's not a Shakespeare skull. The actual skull's buried in the swamp behind your parents' house. No, like, yeah, and that's, like, all they did. What they would do, like, if they found some sort of, like,
Paraphernalia.
that you weren't supposed to have, they just leave it on the kitchen table.
Never
and then
talk about anything.
Yeah.
That's the very Midwestern Christian way.
Don't
to
worry,
go
I'm
about
not
things.
going to talk about what they made you do in middle school.
Just passively aggressively.
So, his father refused to be interviewed about Steven's disappearance, and a source from Hope College simply said, when this person who was doing a lot of the research tried to get more information, quote, "I hate to leave you in the dark, but he's left us in the dark for years."
Yep.
And that's it. Most of this info is hard to find. It is mentioned in Reddit in the dark corners of the more UFO conspiracy-laden corners of the internet. His case was mentioned on Ancient Aliens as evidence of those electromagnetic earthbound black holes.
It wasn't like he was found. Okay.
It's because he disappeared by the Lake Michigan Triangle is the biggest thing.
I need them to be an impossible distance away in a day. I need him to like disappear in Lake Michigan and show up in Asia the next day.
Right.
That's
from the 70s when there's even airplanes couldn't get you there.
He took 2 years to travel to California and then to the East Coast to his aunt's house. Woo!
But he doesn't remember.
He denies it all.
He probably doesn't remember.
No, he probably remembers most of it, but
he probably remembers parts of it.
But at the same time, he like wants that degree, and he doesn't want to have to explain why he. Like, it's so much easier just to not have to explain any of it.
Yeah.
Our kid's dying in the next room, too. You hear that?
I heard.
You're going to have to go put some
smoker's
Vicks on
cough.
her. Yeah.
So, she's not dying. She's fine.
No, she's just got a cough, yeah.
It's winter pretty much in Michigan, even though it's technically not. Lily's all mad about it not being officially like December yet. She's like, it's not winter yet. I'm like, there's snow on the ground. It's winter.
It's dry.
So, like I said, ancient aliens, UFO conspiracies, black hole theories.
I thought we were going to talk about more cosmological stuff.
No, nothing that interesting.
Super excited.
I'm so sorry. But people use this as proof that those holes act as portals to other dimensions.
Thought we were going to talk about particle waves.
No, absolutely not.
No, they detected a particle wave. It was like the biggest thing like 5 years ago.
Sure.
Okay. Good talk.
All right.
We don't need to talk about it.
I know that a really bad electrical storm once, like from solar flares from the sun, came out like in the mid 1800s, and it was so bad that it fried the telegram system.
Yeah. This was a black hole, two black holes smashed into each other.
Oh, yes. No, I do remember.
And that created a big enough, essentially blip in the universe that we were able to detect it, showing that the ripple effect of it was detectable here on Earth.
Which is scary because ripples aren't really supposed to happen in water. I guess sound are ripples too. It's just kind of really freaky to think that something that big essentially just shook the air that much, that far away from us.
Okay, but it also moved undetectable. It took an insane precision instrument. It's not it wasn't like an earthquake. It is
That's, I guess, a little bit more
it moved
comforting.
like a needle, a nanometer in a facility. They have their radar is what would they say, 5? It's almost over 2 miles long, these radars in 4 different directions, and it picked up a blip. The tiniest little thing. Anyway.
Could you imagine that job? You could never blink, just staring at it.
No,
waiting
you don't
for it
have
to move, a little
stare.
needle.
No, that's all computers, you big dumb.
Just let me have my fun.
They put it to music.
Oh, they do?
Like they took the wavelength that they detected and they transposed it into like frequencies so you can actually hear it.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the black hole made one noise and then the other one, I forget what it was. An explosion of some sort. Anyway, there's another one. There's two different sounds. There's the black hole one, and then there's like one that's like,
and then like the actual wave.
One's like a bloop. It sounds like a drip of water, and the other one sounds like a kind of like a. It's like more of a rushing noise.
Like a whoosh.
One's like a blip, and one's like a whoop. Anyway, no one cares. Finish up with your sources.
I care. I'm so interested.
Okay.
So anyway, ancient aliens, different dimensions, blah 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 blah. They think that people disappear into these holes and rarely come back. Steven has never come forward to redirect the narrative of his disappearance and magical reappearance.
He's moved on.
Yeah, he does have a bomb-ass website, though, where he offers insight to, quote, rethinking the universe, God, and everything. So he is now a psychotherapist.
Okay.
Even though
because he went on a peyote trip.
Yeah, and an author that's working on multiple books. I can't tell if he's published any of them. I started reading one of his excerpts from a book that he's called Merit-Based Capitalism and Adaptive Abundance, Reinventing a Science of Economics. Mm-hmm. I'd totally read the book if he, once he gets to writing it.
Well, he's just trying to capitalize on his fame.
I have to show you his website, though. It's glorious.
I don't know if it's glorious. It looks like something you made in website design in 8th grade.
His blog is missing. And it is from...
I don't even think that's him. I don't think that's the real him.
No, it's all over Reddit. People are like, they think it's him.
Anyway.
He is now No, it's totally him because it mentions that he's from Massachusetts where his aunt lives.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Something information you found?
Yeah.
Anyway.
They say that he's a believer in praxis, the old Greek word that denotes the making real of ideas and imagination through some form of action. So he just did an action to pretend like he was dead.
Anyway.
And he's not merely interested in frontiers of knowledge, but engages in activities and adventures, physicals and cerebral, to expand the boundaries of the possible. He fancies himself an applied philosopher with a range of interest across many disciplines and professions, including psychology, economics, political science, blah, 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 blah.
No, okay.
Yep.
That's fine.
He's an interesting fellow.
He's just trying to make money.
100%. He's currently currently has a full-time clinical practice and wants someday to become a full-time writer and blogger.
Oh, terrific. Social media star.
That's him.
Okay. Yep. He's pretty much what I thought. Yeah, he looks like he used to play D&D in the 70s.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Nice balding, thinning bowl cut.
Yep. He looks like a background character from like The Office.
Yes. And that's the disappearance and reappearance of Steven Kubacki.
Nice.
And I exited out of my thing. There we go. Found it.
Weren't you done?
So I can do sources.
Oh, I thought you already did sources.
No, not yet.
Ancient aliens.
So you made it clear what you think he did. Was it amnesia, UFOs, or did he manufacture his own disappearance?
He lied about it.
Yeah, 100%. I think so.
Yeah.
He just hasn't come up and mentioned it.
He's not going to.
No.
He's famous for weird reasons.
Yep. Got to ride that weird 15-minute of fame.
Yeah.
So, all right, sources. Ancient Aliens, Season 13, Episode 4, and then ellencalorian.subtract.com. It's just a blog called Cold Dead Hands. It's titled The Disappearance of Steven Kubacki, and it seemed like a legit source. She gave credit to like her researcher on the bottom and like mentioned police reports and stuff. Mm-hmm. She could just be making it all up, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Everything's made up and nothing matters. Simulation. And then I found a Reddit thread from One Person, One Idea. Steven Kubacki disappearance under strange circumstances and appeared on parents' doorstep 15 months later. And StevenKubacki.com, where he never mentions any of this once.
Of course.
Yep.
As you'd expect.
Yep. The blog was my main source because it was quite a collective of information.
Good.
Very thorough.
Nice.
Yep. Nice and easy and simple. And then I'm going to tell you about really horrible stuff next month.
Excellent.
Where probably, people die and get poisoned and stuff.
And if you miss us before then, at the end of this month, there'll be a bonus pod on the Patreon.
Which we should probably do soon.
We got 10 days.
Mm-hmm. And 4 of those days are holidays.
9 days. No, I know. I'll actually have like a day off of work. Maybe I'll work on it.
How exciting.
Maybe I'll Thanksgiving. That's what I'll be doing. Anyway.
Sounds like fun.
Thanks for all of your listenings.
And researching for a podcast sounds way better than watching the Lions lose again.
Hey, they've won 3 in a row. Back off.
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
Here they come. And they're playing the Bills like the best team in the...
It's going to be the ultimate case of an underdog.
Something like that.
The
anyway,
greatest comeback.
did you want to start a sports podcast?
Absolutely
We can record that on the off
not.
weeks. Let's do that. Anyway, our child's
sports.
dying in the other room still, so
We still have to go tend to her?
we should.
Ew. All right. Well, if you've made it this far,
Congrats.
sorry it wasn't too terrible.
Next time she'll make up for it.
Yep,
she
I will.
likes to do that.
Yes, I do.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Like to lull you into a false sense of security.
Like me, thinking
Yeah.
the podcast was over. You're like,
Yes.
nope, I'm going to keep it going.
Shut up.
All right.
Love you. You, not you guys. That one.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Oof, that was terrible. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.